Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me today and I'm so excited to have you here. Today we are going to be talking about all the books that I read in June, giving you my thoughts and my ratings on all of those, so we're just gonna get right into it. The first book that I read in June was The Locked Door by Freida McFadden. I don't know if we'll consider the Freida McFadden book. I don't know if we consider that during June because I started it on May 31st and then finished it like a few days into June. I'm just gonna include it in the video because why not? It was good. So this book is about a girl named Nora and it goes back and forth between the past tense and the present tense. So the past tense is her whenever she was younger, all of her family dynamics between her mom and her dad, and the locked basement door that she was never allowed to go into. So it kind of just talks about how they ran with things, how her dad was acting whenever she was young, and just her not really suspecting what came to be. Then, whenever it jumps into the present tense, Nora is a surgeon, so she works with another surgeon and they do business together, not business, but you know, they have a practice together, they do surgeries, and some of the women that she has performed surgeries on end up murdered in the same way that her father was murdering the girls in the basement. She starts to get worried, and so it's just a big hodgepodge of who did it, what's going on, and how do we fix this. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I was not really expecting what happened. It was definitely a big plot twist for me. I don't think that I would have guessed that ever, which is kind of nice. I do enjoy being able to problem solve and try to figure out what's going on, but I do ultimately enjoy not knowing and not being able to figure it out. So I ended up rating that one a 5 out of 5 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I would recommend that to anybody if I can, you know, remember it. So the second, third, and fourth book that I read for the month of June, I'm going to kind of group them all together because I don't think that it's a series and I don't think any particular book necessarily stood out in the series or just absolutely tanked it. I don't know. So I read all the Hunger Games books by Susan Collins, and personally, when I go from watching a movie first and then reading a book, if I like the movie, I don't know how to rate the book and kind of separate the two, because to me they're all kind of within the same realm. So really the only time that a book rating gets a rating based on just the book is if they were completely different or if I read the book first. But that being said, I did enjoy the Hunger Games movies, which plays into how I rate the books. But I don't think that there was any real separation between the two. I mean, obviously one's a book and one's a movie. But what I'm saying is there wasn't a ton of differences in the book versus in the movie that I was seeing. And maybe it was just because I was skimming through it because I already kind of knew the storyline. That could have happened. I don't really remember. But I know that I did enjoy the books pretty much the same as I enjoyed the movies, so I ended up just giving all of those a 5-star, which is pretty much what happens when I watch a movie or the series that I really enjoy and then read the book afterwards. So moving right along to the 5th book, I think it is, that I read in June. This one I actually read a book for, and it is sorry, I should know this. It's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. So this is like the prequel to the Hunger Games books, and I didn't know how I was gonna feel about this because I was like, it's already kind of completed. I don't know if I really need another book or not. I don't know if I care about the premise of this book enough to read it, but I saw that the movie was coming out and I was like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and read it and then I'll watch all the movies again, which I did think that the movie was already out, and that's why I already went ahead and read this, and the movie's not out, so go figure. So basically this one is following President Snow and just kind of his life and how he went from just being a kid and watching the games to playing more of a vital role in the games. So basically they go to a school in the capital and some of the kids from the school end up becoming mentors for the Hunger Games. He gets selected to mentor the female tribute for District 12. And District 12 was kind of just seen as like the weak link. In his mind, he was given the weakest link, the weakest tribute, and just someone that he had no chance with, and he kind of saw that as a bad thing, right? So it just follows him mentoring the girl. I don't know why I'm just waving this around in the air. So it follows him mentoring his female tribute. I believe her name's Lucy. It's just gonna be Lucy. I don't really remember. I gave this one, since this one's kind of separate, I haven't seen the movie, this one's separate from the actual Hunger Games realm, I ended up giving this one a 4 stars. Now, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. The only thing that kind of threw me off was the people. There were so many people and their names are just so weird. So, right, we're following 12 districts with 2 people in each district, and then we have 24 tributes, and then you have the 24 mentors on top of it, plus your teachers and stuff that get brought into it, and just other background characters and things. And for me, that was so hard to focus on and remember who was teaching who and who was mentoring who and who was this and that. And so if you're bad with people, they do give you some lists throughout the book where it kind of shows you tributes and mentors and stuff like that. But if you're really bad with names, this one might be kind of frustrating for you. If not, you're gonna be golden. You got this. So the next book that I read was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. Now, I really enjoyed this one a lot. It, again, kind of wasn't what I was expecting, and the ending, like the plot twist or whatever at the end, I was looking back at it and I was thinking, and I was like, you know, I don't even know how this would have come about. I don't know. To me, the way that everything was written and whatever, it just didn't make sense for that to be the ending, but it was. I had to reread the end of it a few times to kind of grasp what was being said and kind of what was going on, which is not a bad thing. It still definitely threw me for a loop, and I was totally not expecting that. I pretty much read this one in like one sitting. I would say I maybe like finished it the next morning, started it at night, and then finished it the rest of the day the next day. But I would say that's close enough to one sitting. This book follows Adam and Amelia, and their relationship is kind of on the rocks. So when Amelia wins a workplace raffle, drawing, whatever it is, she gets sent an invitation to this cabin, just some kind of retreat for her and her husband to kind of rekindle things as a last attempt to save their marriage. It goes back and forth between past and present a little bit. It shows yearly anniversary letters that are written to Adam, and they're basically just going on about how good their marriage is, whatever, and each year it kind of like progresses a little bit more. It's definitely been a build-up. So they get to this cabin and things start happening. It's really weird. You see progressively how their marriage has declined, how neither one of them are really happy with each other, how they're kind of keeping secrets from each other, and basically this is just a last attempt to save their marriage. And again, lots of plot twists and stuff that you would not be expecting. I give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I don't really know why. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was very captivated and very hooked on it. Just, I don't know. Just, it was good. Don't get me wrong. It was very good. Really enjoyed it, but didn't get a 5 for me. Then I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This one is about Miles and Tate, and basically they meet and instantly are attracted to each other. Miles is a pilot and also Tate's brother's really good friend, co-worker, that type of thing. And Tate's brother is super protective over her, doesn't really want her to date or anything like that. So Tate moves in with her brother, and Miles lives across the hallway from them because they're in an apartment. So basically, like I said, they instantly are attracted to each other and decide that they want to form like a no strings attached kind of relationship. And they have 2 rules from Miles. Miles has created 2 rules for them because he does not want to fall in love. And Miles's rules for her are to never ask about the past and to not expect a future. So they can keep going with this no strings thing if Tate can just adhere to those rules. And that's about it. That I would not want to read it. I would not want to read this if I just listened to what I just said. Rating. What did I rate this? I gave this one a 3 stars. It was okay. It was not my favorite. I'm not a big, like, it was so frustrating right? Because I mean, just figure out your stuff, figure out your life, and then get together, right? And I know it's just a book, obviously, and it's supposed to be entertaining, which it was that. It wasn't as... I don't really have much to say about it because I kind of read it and not forgot about it, but read it and like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. It was just kind of back and forth. Obviously that's kind of what it was going to be. I don't think I read the back of the book. I just went in blind with this one. I really don't have much to say. Bottom line, it just wasn't my favorite. It was okay. Pretty much, that's about it. The last book that I read was By a Thread by Lucy Score, and that one followed Dominic and Allie. And basically, they meet at a pizza parlor and instantly just don't like each other. She's pissed off at him because he's like rich, angry, mad at the world, and she's just happy-go-lucky trying to afford her next meal. And things get off on the wrong foot. He ends up getting her fired from her current job, and she desperately needs somewhere to work. So on the bus stop, she runs into his mom, who's also at the pizza parlor with him, and she offers Allie a job at the same company that he works at. So basically now they both work together. They don't like each other pretty much at all. Just constantly fighting, griping, arguing, all that mess. Then they start to become attracted to each other and start to get a little bit flirty. And Dominic does not want to pursue a relationship because of what happened in the past with his father, forcing himself onto his coworkers, the assistants, people that were working underneath him. So they ended up having to fire him, and Dominic did not want to break the new rules of the company to pursue a relationship with her. Dominic has a lot of secrets, Allie has a lot of secrets, they don't want to tell each other, and just, it's a lot of back and forth. I rated this one a 3 out of 5 stars. Look, it was okay. It was okay. It was too much for me. I'm not big on spice or anything like that, and which I'll make a tag video and kind of like explaining my likes and interests and dislikes and whatever in books. So anyways, spice is not one of my favorite things. I don't like it unless if I feel like it actually adds to the storyline. To me, this was just, it was too much. Like I had to skim through a lot of it. I thought it was really cringy, so just the way it was written, it was kind of weird in my opinion. Which if you like that, that's totally fine. It just wasn't my cup of tea, you know? And yeah, so I did have to do a lot of skimming, which I don't like to have to do that. I'd rather just be able to read the whole book for what it is. But like I said, the spice stuff was just, I thought it was kind of weird. Speaking of weird, what did she say? Let me just read to you one of the quotes. I'm not one to highlight quotes and stuff like that, but let me read this description to you because I thought it was so weird. Okay. Forbidden ring of muscle between my cheeks. Ew. I'm sorry, but what? I was skimming, right? I'm skimming through this chapter, and I saw that. My eyes just hit that. A forbidden ring of muscle. So anyways, not my cup of tea. Last thing that I want to talk about in this book, just because why not? I'm being a hater already, so I might as well just like keep at it. The end of the book, right? And I'm not, this isn't like a spoiler thing. I don't know what happened, and I don't know if I just wasn't witnessing this the entire rest of the book or not. But all of a sudden, all these random extra characters, side characters, just random people in the vicinity of where they're at come in and start talking and almost overriding the actual main character conversation. Allie is opening up some stuff that Dominic left her, and the lady like sitting next to her is getting all nosy, and she's like, oh, what did he leave you? What did you get? Like, get out of her business. Like, what? Who invited her into the conversation? The whole last chapter of the book was basically the main characters chatting, talking, whatever they were doing, having their own thoughts, and then people interrupting them to just talk random stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you've read this book, right? If you've read it and you know what I'm talking about, let me know if you thought that was weird too, or if it was just me. Cause I'm sitting there, I'm like, why are they talking? Like, why is this necessary at the end? I don't know, I just thought it was super weird. So I have some weird gripes about that book, but I didn't love it, honestly. I could probably lower the rating. I did enjoy the storyline. The storyline was good. But other than that, not a fan. And that's it. That's just all my thoughts and feelings about everything that I read this month. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one.